Oh, hey guys. Today we'll be doing a hard drive upgrade for the MSI, the model here. Just follow my cursor for the directions and instructions. The model is the MS-17A2. Once it's a pretty simple, upgrade or replacement if you need to do it, regardless if your part has failed or you need to upgrade to the M.2s and stuff, or or replace your 2.5 inch and because it's gone defective. This is a pretty simple upgrade. So if once you have your screen face down, this is what the bottom end will actually look like. And as you can see here, there's 5 screws. Well, you can't see the fifth one. I'll show you where it is. There's one in each corner, as you can see, top left, top right, bottom left, and the bottom right. But if you look at this factory seal sticker here, that's where MSI had actually kind of put a sticker over the fifth screw. So then I'll give you a closer shot of it. As you can see here, I basically just punched it right through there, and then you just use your Phillips screwdriver just to remove that fifth screw. So remember that. And I noticed with this model here, even though it only had 5 screws, it wasn't really that easy just to start off removing the cover. I just thought it would come off easily by pulling this tab here, as you can see here, but it wasn't the case. So with this one here, I found the easiest was actually I did this. Um, just keep your laptop in the same orientation. So I just used a pry tool. I started off in the little corner, and what I did was I used my little. If you look at here, it's a mini flat screwdriver. I just use it just to wedge it open a little bit. Then right after that, it was pretty simple. I literally just used my pry tool and just ran it across from left to right and then to the top on both ends. And you don't have to pry this section open here on the top left or the top right, because once you have this section here, if you follow my white cursor, once you have this section there, pry it open with your pick tool, this tab here will allow you to easily just pull off the rest of it here. As you can see here, I'll show you here. So once I pulled the tab off, these sections here came off. But if you do want to run off your pry tool around here, from the back left and right corner here, you could do it if you wanted to. I didn't have to do it because this tab here was basically a really strong tab. As you can see, it's a solid black tab. So once you lift that, the whole back end comes up. And with this model here, you don't have to worry about any wires being, attached to your bottom panel. And, sometimes some laptop models, they do have wires connected to the bottom panel for speakers and other stuff, which I don't know why they do that, but some do. But this one here doesn't. So you don't have to worry about lifting it up and tearing anything apart. So you just simply remove it. And once you remove it, this is what it looks like here. And as you can see here, it took me a couple seconds to figure out where it was, but with this model here, as you can see, if you look carefully in this area that I'm circling, this is where your M.2 and your 2.5 inch hard drive will be, that is installed, the current ones there. So before we proceed, I would highly suggest that to unplug your battery here, this is the main power cable for your battery. It's a pretty small battery because it relies on a big, AC adapter, but to unplug this here, I will show you a closer shot of how to unplug it before we proceed. I mean, if you were just replacing a 2.5 inch hard drive, you don't even need to unplug your battery. But since we're dealing with an M.2 also, I wouldn't mess around with that. So it's better to be safe than sorry. So I gave you a close up, diagram here of show how to do it because I use a flat screwdriver, just a tiny one, a micro one. And so I'll go back to the picture to show you where it's located. If you look carefully here, I kind of lean my screwdriver on this hard piece of plastic, and it won't do anything to to your system or that plastic. It won't break it, so don't worry about it. So what I want you to do is just to put your flat screwdriver parallel on laying on top of this beam, and then just kind of wedge it on the left side of that plug. And as you can see here, with a closer up shot, I just literally, there's a lip there that you can see. Once you put your flat screwdriver on that lip, all you have to do is just crank it upwards. And once you have that upwards, the other side is very easy to remove. You can just do it by hand because these cables are pretty tough. But if you don't want to avoid doing any harm to the cables, I would suggest doing the same thing with the other side. Don't lean the screwdriver on the right side because 85% of it will be already unplugged or coming apart. You can probably just use your fingernails to lift it up. I wouldn't even suggest using a flat screwdriver on the other end because I didn't have to. So once I had this up here, as you can see, it's completely off, and it won't compromise the structure of this hard piece of plastic. So don't worry about it. You'll be good to go. And then once you've done that, then we can go back to the hard drive removal here. So going back to the hard drive removal, as you can see, this is a far away picture of where it's situated, and then this is a close up. So the first thing you want to do is remove the heatsink here. This is basically the heatsink that has special heat conductors underneath it, strips that actually keep your M.2 SSDs cool. So remove these three screws here, 1, 2, and 3. And once you remove that, you can just simply lift it up and remove it. And then I'll show you a picture, a closer up picture of how to remove it. I kind of picked it up from where the head is, and here on this side here, or you can just pick it up all the way, but I find that it just safely comes apart easier by lifting it this way here. And as you can see here, this is your M.2 that they had installed there. Um, so just lift that off and remove it and put it aside, because and then put your screws aside with it, so then at least you'll know the orientation where the screws need to go. And then once I remove that heatsink, this is what it looks like underneath. So you got to use your Phillips again to remove this SSD. So if you're replacing your M.2 or adding additional one, as you can see, there's two more, bays for you to add two more M.2s. So if you want to do that, you can actually add to it, or if you're just replacing it because it's defective, now you know where they go. So it's that simple. And the other thing is, with your 2.5 inch, it's actually hiding underneath this plate. So for you to get to that plate, or if you're adding a 1 or 2 terabyte, 2.5 inch SSD, because you didn't, for whatever reason, you didn't want to add an M.2, which I would really suggest doing instead, because they're not much difference in pricing, and then the speed for the M.2s are much faster than the 2.5 inch SSDs anyways. But I will show you actually how to get to the 2.5 inch hard drive also, just in case if you wanted to add another another piece to that. So what you have to do here is just remove that one Phillips screw, and then once you remove this screw here, you can just slide your M.2 to the back upwards here. So just follow my orientation of it. So just pull it and just pull it backwards that way. And once you have that removed, you will see this is what it looks like here. And as you can see, there's a screw holding it here. There's one there, there's one there, and then there's one there. I've already taken two out. It was I just thought it was a part of a different plate, but don't worry about it. But there is 3 screws holding this plate together. So remove that screw there, the one on the right and the one on the left. So once you remove that, there's a tab here, as you can see. If you actually pull on that tab, pull it downwards towards this way. So follow my cursor, pull it down towards this way. So lift it up first. Just lift it up about a quarter of an inch at the most, or 3/8 of an inch. So I'll show you a closer shot here. If you lift it about at this height here, so once this area clears, then you can pull this tab and pull it towards you. Slowly, just wiggle it out, because then you're disconnecting the 2.5 inch hard drive from the SATA plug, which is actually right up here, as you can see here. You don't want to lift it and bend it straight up, because that's how you'll end up breaking it, and that's one thing you don't want to do. So just remember to look on the side here, lift it up about a quarter of an inch at the most until you clear this section here, the lip, and then just pull it towards you, and then it will easily disconnect. And I find that even though there was no screws holding the hard drive, actually it was really tough to get it out. I guess that little black material that's underneath it really just sucked it in there. So but once I used my mini flat screwdriver again, I just pried the bottom left corner, and then it just literally just loosened itself, and I just pulled it right out. So you don't need a screwdriver to unscrew any screws that this 2.5 inches actually in. It's just because it's just the way this caddy is designed. It's really made to hold it in without any screws required. So, and then once you've done that, that basically completes the 2.5 inch and the M.2 SSD replacements or upgrades. And I hope this helps you guys out. And if you guys do like this video, just click on the like button. And if you have any comments or any questions, just place it on the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.